posted it yet, so I'll get that done. Hopefully we'll have both of these up for the weekend, okay? So you've got both of them to look through again if you need to. Okay. So, we need to perform the indicated operation. We've got the good old I's. Again, these should be nice problems, right? These are ones we shouldn't be getting wrong. What do we need to do with that negative to begin with? Distribute. So negative 3 plus 4i minus 7 minus 11i, not plus 11i. Alright. You gotta watch me. I've been really bad today, making mistakes everywhere, so make sure I'm not doing it. I know, I've only had one, I have 0 period. So, but yeah, 0 period was bad today. Alright, I was messing up the simple stuff. Alright, negative 3, negative 7. Negative 10. 4i and negative 11i. Negative 7i. Okay. Alright, 17. We need to FOIL that. Okay, so what's 2 times negative 3?
Negative 6.
Good. 2 times negative 5i. Good. I times negative 3. Good. And then I times negative 5i is better known as positive 5. And now we're going to combine like terms. So it's negative 6 and positive 5. Negative 10i and negative 3i. Negative 13i. Okay. Okay, just grab a different one for now. It'll turn up, I'm sure. It might have just got put back in the wrong slot or something. Okay, let's look at 18. So 18, I need to multiply top and bottom by the what? What's that? Not the reciprocal. It starts with the C.
Conjugate.
There you go, the conjugate. What is the conjugate?
2
Okay, that's the conjugate of the numerator. I need the denominator, so I'm going to use 3 plus 4i. Okay? Even if you don't know the word conjugate, you should know that you multiply by the denominator and change the sign in the middle. Okay? In the numerator, I need to FOIL. Look at the denominator. What number should the denominator be? Should be 25, shouldn't it? Okay, so I'm gonna do it just in case the answer's different on the. It isn't just 25 on the bottom, okay, on the final, so we know how to do it. But look at that, because if you're pressed for time, there's no need to worry about the denominator. Although the denominator might change a sign somewhere, so you got to be careful. Okay, so what is 2 times 3? 6. Good. 2 times 4i. 8i. 3 times 3i. 9i. And 3i times 4i is 12i squared, better known as negative 12. Okay, the denominator I only need to do first and last, because the middle should cancel. So what's 3 times 3? 9. And then 4i, negative 4i times positive 4i is better known as 16. Do we get the 25 we were looking for? Yep. Okay, 6 plus minus 12 is what? Negative 6. 8i plus 9i is 17i. The one that's closest is here. I don't like the way that that's typed. It really should have the 6 upstairs, shouldn't it? Because the way that that's written, it looks, and it's my mistake in the way I typed it, okay? The way that that's saying is it's more like you distribute, okay? It should really just be a negative 6 up top, but you got to go with what's there, okay? All right, we good with 18? All right, let's look at 19. We get to use back substitution. For a system of 3, this is pretty much as easy as it's going to get, because they gave us one of the answers. I'm going to take that and I'm going to substitute it in. So negative 2 times 4 minus 6z equals 10. What's negative 2 times 4?
Negative 8.
Negative 8 minus 6z equals 10. What am I going to do now?
Add 8 to the other side.
And what do you get?
18.
18. Divide by negative 6, you get
Negative 3.
negative 3. So I'm going to go into this top one now, and I'm going to plug in my x and my z. So 5, what am I putting in for x?
4.
4 minus, not plus. minus 3y plus 4. What's your z? Negative 3 equals negative 6. What's wrong? Not right now. Come back the last, like, 10 minutes.
I'm not going to be here all day.
You're not going to be here all day? Okay. We'll take care of it on Monday. Okay? No, you need that at home. You need that at home. Okay? Bye. Alright. What is 5 times 4? 20 minus 3y minus 12 equals negative 6. Alright, 20 minus 12 is?
32.
Is it 8? Yeah. Double check, make sure we're right. Make sure we're all doing our arithmetic correctly. Alright, what are we doing with this 8? Subtracting it. So what's negative 6 and negative 8?
Negative 14.
Negative 14, y equals 14 over 3, going to go positive because they're both negative. All right, so our final answer should really look like 14 over 3, that's too many divide signs, and negative 3. Oh, it only asks for y? Even better. It's just going to be 14/3, right?
Yeah.
Why is it good to just only ask for y? Didn't you have to solve it all the way to get to the y?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that you know that you had to do all those other parts, but if you got to the y correctly, you did it right. Okay. All right. Looking at 20. Remember linear programming and how we didn't put it on the test?
Yeah.
All right, so here's our way of putting it on here. I could not, for the life of me, in Desmos get it, so it just shaded the triangle. Technically, the triangle is supposed to be shaded. Okay. It will be shaded on the picture on the actual test, I think. All right, all you have to do, they've already graphed your inequalities for you. So all you have to do is read the points and put it into that function. That's like nothing compared to what we did with linear programming in the 7 steps, right?
Yeah.
So all you have to do is let's read those points off the graph. What's this point right here?
2, 0.
Okay, what's this point right here, everybody? 0, 2, and what's this point up here? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I agree with 6. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug those values into this function. So I'm going to use some funky notation. I'm going to go z of 0, 2, 0, z of 0, 2, and z of 3, 6. So at least I know what I'm plugging in where. And I'm supposed to be finding, it says, the maximum number. Okay, so the biggest y value I can. All right, I'm doing 6 times 2 plus 8 times 0, right? I'm using this function right here to plug into. What's 6 times 2? 12 plus 0, which is 12. All right, we're going to do 6 times 0 plus 8 times 2. What's 6 times 0? 0. 8 times 2 is 16, so my answer is 16. All right, 6 times 3 plus 8 times 6. 6 times 3 is?
18.
8 times 6 is?
48.
18 plus 48 is?
66.
Do we agree, everybody? 66, okay? All right. Looks a lot easier. It is a lot easier than it originally looked, right? And we want we picked 66 because we wanted the biggest. What if it asked for the minimum? What would we have picked?
12.
12. All right, looking at 21, it wants the y value in the following system. So I have choices. I could do substitution. I could do elimination. I could do Kramer's rule. I only want to solve for y. What's my best choice?
The one where you put like numbers and
Kramer's rule is probably your best choice. Do I have to do Kramer's rule? No. But look at this. If I did elimination, isn't it set up to eliminate the y's?
that's the word. Yeah, elimination.
If I eliminate the y's, I still have to go back and plug in. So I'm going to do a lot more solving if I do that. If I want to do elimination, you want to go for eliminating the x's. Okay, that gets you there in the fewest steps. I'm going to do Kramer's rule because it's been a while. Okay, and Kramer's rule is probably going to be just as quick and easy as elimination. So my denominator determinant for the x column, what would I write?
-3, 2,
Good. Okay, what about the y column? What would I write?
4.
Good. I'm solving for y, so what gets shoved upstairs? X. And then for the y column, I put in the answers. What are your answers? Good. At this point, it's some multiplication steps. So what's negative 3 times 8?
Negative 6, 8,
24. Minus 2 times 12 is?
24.
Oh, okay. So we get negative 48 in the top, it looks like. All right. Negative 3 times negative 2 is?
Wait.
6. Minus 2 times 4 is? 8. So my denominator is? Negative 2. So my y value is? 24.
Where did the negative? What?
What's wrong?
Plus 24 right there?
Here?
Yeah.
No, the operation is minus when we do Kramer's rule. Thank you. All right. So again, do you understand the rule, Lauren? You multiply the diagonals, but you subtract them. That's the rule. Okay, so that's where the negative came from. All right, we go to 21. All right, looking at 22. So I cannot in haiku if it won't let me type this. Okay, I don't understand why it doesn't, but it doesn't let me type that. That's really the same thing as the 1/3 power, right? So whichever way it appears, know that it could appear either way. So how do we get rid of that cubed or the 1/3 power? Sorry, the cubed root or the 1/3 power. You cube it, right? Either way I'm doing it, I'm cubing it. So that would cancel, or the cube and the cube root cancel. So I'd have x minus 2 equals, what's 2 cubed? 8, good. All right. And then x equals 10. You want to check it, make sure that you're coming out nice. It should be okay because there's an x only on one side. But what's 10 minus 2? 8 cubed root of 8 is? 2. So it's good to always do that extra little check, especially if you've got time. Okay? All right. Looking at 23. Okay? So we are evaluating f of 2. Oh, this doesn't get much better either, does it? So all I have to do is plug in a 2. 3, 2 plus 12. All right. What's 3 times 2?
6.
6 plus 12 is? 18. Okay, so looking at my answers, I have to figure out a can and a can't do box. Biggest square number that goes into 18 is what? 9. How many times?
3. Yeah,
Twice. What's the square root of 9? 3 square root of 2. So it's got to be this last one. Okay. All right. So vertical asymptotes means I need to look at what's in the denominator, right? So nothing's going to cancel. I can't factor the numerator, so I'm going to go ahead and just take my denominator and set it equal to what? 0. Good. So x squared equals 16. I'm going to undo the square by doing what?
Square root.
Square root. And what do we have to write out front? Plus or minus. So x equals plus or minus 4 would be my 2 vertical asymptotes. All right, we good with 24? All right, 25, it says graph of the function is shown, determine its domain. So its domain would be everything except that asymptote, wouldn't it? So we would write all reals except for what? X equals negative 2. And if you didn't see it from the graph, remember you take that and set that denominator equal to 0. And you get the negative 2 from there. All right, we good with 25? All right, looking at this one. Which of the following graphs passes the vertical line test to represent the y as their function of x? So remember, the vertical line test, it can only touch one time. That's okay because of the hole, isn't it? So graph A is a function. All right, is graph B a function? No, it fails the vertical line test, so this one's not a function. Let's read the question again, see what they wanted. Which of the following graphs passes the vertical line test? So which one passes? A passes. B does not. All right, 27. Determine the intervals in which the function is increasing. 1, 2, it looks like about, can we agree on -3? Is that right?
Yes.
And is it, can we agree on +3 here? Approximately. All right, so increasing from where to where?
-3 to 3.
-3 to 3, and we're just going to use open parentheses for the intervals. Okay. All right, decreasing, and it's the same picture, isn't it? All right, so decreasing from where to start?
-3 to -3.
Good. And where else?
3 to infinity.
3 to infinity. And remember when you're typing it in, if you're trying to type the answer, and I just did the INF. I don't think I typed out the word infinity. Okay. All right, 29. We've only got 2 left. All right, this is the new stuff, right? We haven't been doing this stuff very long. It says it wants g of f of x. So g of f of x. So I'm going to take f and plug it into g. So I'm going to write my g function with parentheses for the x. What am I going to plug in for the f function?
4.
Yep. So it's really 4 squared root of x plus 3. I guess you could do this. They might do the answer like that if it was multiple choice, right? And I think to type it, it's 4 sqrt parentheses x plus 3, something like that. It's probably how to type it in. That will likely be multiple choice on the test. We're not going to make you type in square root. Okay. All right, let's look at 30. F of g of 7. Where does the 7 get plugged into first? G. So g of 7 first. So 9 times 7 minus 5. What's 9 times 7? 63 minus 5 is 58. I'm now going to take that 58 and plug it into f. So my f is 3 times something minus, or sorry, something plus 1. Put in your 58. What's 3 times 58? I know it ends in a 4.
174.
174?
Yeah.
Okay. Plus 1 is
175.
175. Okay. We good with 30? Alright, so that's where I said I was going to stop today. So that means you have the rest of the period. If you want something stamped, I'm going to let you come see me.